there was a way to fix most of the problems with humanity, would you want to know about it? Several years ago, the Society of Problem Solvers set out on a task to try and identify the biggest problem facing humanity. One problem in particular seemed to stand out. That problem was fixing the corruption in the systems that govern over our lives. We believe that systems are the most important determining factor for quality of life on this planet. So if we could solve for better systems, we could change a lot. Humanity as a whole is a much better place when our systems are trustworthy. Right now, systems of government, media, food, academia, medicine, and even science have lost the trust of the people. If we use metrics to judge our systems, which we should, nearly none of our current systems are seeing satisfactory results. Humans can be amazing when the systems that govern over us are trustworthy. We can collaborate at high levels, but the opposite is also true. This is why we need to build a new system, a different kind of system, a decentralized one, a transparent one, and above all, a trustworthy one. We need a system where our epistemology starts with problems, and then we try to solve problems from the bottom up in highly aligned groups with the proper technology in place to assist us. Welcome to Leaderless. We are unlike any nonprofit organization on earth. We are a decentralized and radically transparent charity run 100% by you, the donors. We know what you are thinking. How is that possible? How could thousands or even millions of donors decide what a charity spends its money on or what it builds? How is it possible to aggregate a single answer from that many people? And wouldn't a system like that be easy to corrupt? These are all great questions. The system we plan on using to aggregate one creative and wise answer from the crowd is called the Human Swarm Intelligence System. It is a newer form of collective intelligence with a proven track record.
This is a human swarm. It's about 100 people all working together to move that glass puck. Each of the little magnets you see is controlled by a person logged in from somewhere around the world. By moving their magnets, they're varying their opinions in real time, pushing and pulling on the system. So how can a swarm like this answer questions? Let me give you some examples. Last year, CBS Interactive challenged us to predict the Kentucky Derby. And not just the winner, the first 4 horses in order. In horse racing, that's called the superfecta, and last year it went off at 540 to 1 odds. Now, we didn't know anything about horse racing. We had never done anything like this before, but we were game, so we formed a swarm of 20 horse racing enthusiasts. Not experts, just enthusiasts, and we had them think together as a system to predict the winners of the race. So here's a swarm predicting the first place finisher, Nyquist. We did the same thing for second place, third place, fourth place, and then the reporter wrote a story and published the results. She even went to the Kentucky Derby, placed a bet on the superfecta, and tweeted out her ticket, which put some pressure on us. So how did we do? We nailed it. And anybody who had placed a $20 bet, thank you. So anybody who had placed a $20 bet on our predictions would have won $11,000. I placed a $20 bet and won $11,000. The reporter placed a bet. A bunch of her readers placed bets. One of her readers reported winning $50,000. Now, this is remarkable, but what's even more amazing is that of the 20 people in the swarm, not a single one of them got all 4 horses right on their own. In fact, by taking a vote, they only got 1 horse right out of 4. But by thinking together as a swarm, they were perfect. That's the power of swarm intelligence.
Another great example of human swarms in action is diagnosing patients. Human swarm intelligence systems outperformed individual doctors by a staggering 30%. That means if they were being diagnosed with a terminal illness that could have saved them that day, 30% more lives would have been saved. Human swarms also outperformed language model AI. The evidence continuously shows that there is wisdom in groups of people, especially if we have trustworthy and effective ways to aggregate that wisdom. So what does a trustworthy system look like? First, to be trustworthy, our new system must be decentralized and radically transparent. Additionally, as a nonprofit entity, we plan on converting all of our finances to Bitcoin, so everyone can see our wallet and ledger at all times. You won't need to be an expert in Bitcoin to understand why this holds value. And if you are new to Bitcoin, this is a perfect place to learn. Since it is a donation to our nonprofit, you will not be at any risk. You donate $20, watch it get turned into Bitcoin, and then put in the middle of a transparent kitty mixed with everyone else's donations. This is what we call a Bitcoin swarm. Now, for the fun part. We use human swarm intelligence systems to decide how we spend that money together, as a group, as a swarm. In other words, if there were 3 million paying donors or members paying $20 each for that month, together as one swarm, they would control $60 million at the end of that month, together. Imagine that as a force for change. In addition to all that money, just imagine 3 million people behind a cause, all posting on social media together. That's a powerful force. It creates almost like a new being, a sum greater than the individual parts, like a superhero. Balaji Srinivasan talks about this in regards to network states. In Tim Urban's book, What's Our Problem?, he calls these types of amazing problem-solving groups of people super genies. To help visualize how a swarm ecosystem could work, picture 3 million people are asked a question. That's the size of Nevada. Those 3 million people then break up into smaller circles of 12 people. In the small circle, everyone is anonymous. This is one of the most important principles of solving problems in groups. Ideas need to stand alone. They should not be attached to any person or label or identity in any way. Independent thought and courageous thought lead to the best outcomes in swarms. The 12 people in the cell each populate their own answer, and it forms in a circle. Any two answers that are too similar, people in the cell just drag them together and they turn into one answer. None of those answers are more heavily weighted than the others. They simply reduce the number of answers, maybe down from 12 to say 8 or 9. So we're not repeating answers in the same circle. Those 8 answers then stay in a circle and members choose the answer they think is best. They're not trying to have their own answer win since this is all done anonymously. Instead, they try to pick what answer they think is the best answer, using a digital magnet to pull on a clear hockey puck towards the best answer they like, and away from the ones they do not like. This system is more correctly mimicking how decisions should be made in groups. If you watch any swarm in nature, you will see this. After the group of 12 settles on one answer, the winning answer goes on to the next round. This iterates several times until we have a final 12 answers. From here, the swarm has several options. It can settle on one answer if a decision needs to be made, but it can also rank answers. When you rank answers, a swarm can often end up with 2 or 3 competing theories. These can be tested against each other using metrics and results to judge the outcomes, thus trying to find the best outcomes for the swarm. Having corrupt systems affect us all sides, all classes, races, institutions, political parties, and more. We should all want to have the systems that govern over humanity be free from corruption. Avoiding this problem is why we are kept divided at all costs. It is a common ground where we need to stand together. This is a place we can all start. It's important that we use crowdfunding pages to raise money for this project, because if we try to turn to investors, they'll make us beholden to them, and thus corruptible. If humanity wants to see this built, we need to do so in a decentralized way, a trustworthy way, a transparent way, with donations from the bottom up. For more information about this new technology and about Leaderless, our nonprofit network state, please visit swarmacademy.ai, as well as the Society of Problem Solvers on Substack, both of which are 100% free and always will be.